States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First I'll announce we did have an executive session prior to this meeting for legal issues. It lasted about 45 minutes, from 6 to 6:45. Had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion second.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Any correspondence?
No.
Treasurer, you want to review the financial statement?
Sure. To begin with, the Township has presented us with a check from Act 13 for $50,000 to the authority. I want to thank the Township for that. And as far as our balance goes, we are what's my balance? Don't know where to find it.
One more. There you go.
All right. Our balance is $15,716.23, which includes a check that was wrote tonight for $87.98 to Jim. It was for flowers to Malone for Paul. And the bills that are due tonight is invoice 59440 for KLH, which is a $200 retainer. And we have an invoice from Sherry Crawford, which is for all that she does, which is meeting preparations. And she met with Gary and John and putting all the paperwork together. And that bill is $330.91. We have a invoice from Jablonski, Costello, and Lecky for $400, which is our retainer. There's an invoice for $589.75, which is prep work and letters, and also work on the Navy property. And that bill is $589.75. And invoice 4667. You have Bolonski, Costello, and Lecky as well for $1,888.50. And that was for easement filings, which brings our total for $3,409.16 for tonight. So is the amount we have to pay for. I'll make a motion to pay these bills.
Motion made, second.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and second. Any questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Solicitor's report.
I didn't give you a written report because it would basically be the same as last month's, but just to summarize again where we stand, we are continuing to receive easements in from property owners based upon the last letters that were sent, which were essentially classified as the final attempt to try to get the easements on a voluntary basis. As has been discussed in the past, everybody that will be getting sewage benefits by cooperating, because otherwise the costs just go up more, and ultimately that means the rates go up more. But in any event, I've continued to receive those. A big portion of what George just read were the recorder of deeds fees for filing a bunch of the easements that came in. I have continued to receive a number of phone calls from different property owners. Everybody, for the most part, has been very pleasant and just trying to understand things. And I invite everyone, maybe some of them that are here today, or because of that, I invite everyone to come to the meetings and ask any questions they may have. But I've also made the point to various individuals that this has been going on for at least 3 years, that there were 14 different public meetings held in the past for people to come and talk to the engineers, ask about the potential for design changes related to their properties and such. On occasion, in all fairness, there is someone who purchased the property between then and now, and so that has to be taken into consideration with those individuals. But that's where I've been involved with most of that particular part of the issue over the past month. We had talked in the past, a couple meetings about getting the letters out to property owners who had attended those meetings in the past and requested the possibility of revisions to their right-of-way drawings. Again, just to summarize, there's been the meetings that were held with the engineers for a review to see if any of those were feasible, and we need to get letters out to the various property owners that requested that, telling them either it was or it wasn't, or maybe in part it was. I know that because of some personnel changes with the engineering firm that we got a little backed up on getting that out this month as we expected, so we're going to try to move forward and get that out this month. That leads us back to one of the things we addressed last month, which was the timeline for proceeding to eminent domain. Since we weren't able to get that last part of it done, we're probably going to have to push the timeline for that back another month. We had originally thought that we may be considering the filing towards the tail end of this month. I don't think we're going to be in a position to do that, and I don't think I want to be preparing a huge eminent domain filing, nor do people want to receive that around Christmas time.
Yeah, so you're probably talking January.
I think we should do that in January, yes. Then lastly, as we discussed in eminent domain, or excuse me, in executive session, there's the issue of the Nagy property. I did supply them and their real estate agent the appraisal that we received for that, since we're acquiring a large portion of property, not just an underground pipeline. I provided them with a copy of the appraiser's report, I reported in executive session further on that, and since that's a matter of potential litigation and property negotiation, I will leave it at that.
Very good. Any questions for?
I'm good.
No. Thank you.
So you have a copy of our report, and right now we're full steam ahead on getting the permits.
For the
Project.
people who are in the audience, John Mowry and Dave Cauldron
Yes, correct.
are, Dave is going to be the head of the sewage project here in the township now, and John is going to be his backup, I guess.
Yes.
So, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you do have our report, again, in the process of getting all the required permits. Two major entities that we're dealing with, the Washington County Conservation District, getting that NPDES stormwater permit. We did get a letter back from them stating that our application is administratively complete, so now it proceeds to a technical review. Once we have that permit, then we can proceed with the DEP permits, Part 1, which is our outfall permit for the plant, and a Part 2 construction permit, which allows us to build the plant, the pump stations, the whole work. So we can't submit that until we have the Conservation District approval. So that's key. I'm hoping to have that sometime early December. So we're keeping in close contact with those people and moving forward. So working with your office to get the revised easements out. So that's where things stand currently.
Very good. Let's keep this project moving forward. I keep
Yes.
saying that, so. All right, we're down to citizens' comments. Please stand once you're recognized, state your name and your address, and please try and hold your comments to 5 minutes. And if we need more time after we close the meeting, then the engineers and the solicitor will stick around for a little bit to do some of that. Yes?
I'm Joanne Alexi. I live on 161 Main Street. It's the corner of Main Street and Dyer Drive. I'm not comfortable handing this in yet because I don't quite understand how much of my property is going to be consumed. I have a drawing. I don't understand it well enough to be comfortable to hand this paper in. I don't know if there's going to be a tap-in right in the middle of this or no tap-in.
Yeah, can you stick around until after the
Mhm.
meeting and we can,
Yeah.
from just
Yeah.
looking at it,
I don't know
it
how
looks
much
like
my
it's
yard
just, it
is
looks like
going
it's a
like.
temporary easement,
That's what it
so
looks like
you're
to
gonna
me.
retain everything, I think,
Yeah.
if I'm
Yeah,
reading
so
that.
I'm holding this until I understand it better.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Once we get through the meeting, stick around
You
and,
think I should ask?
Well, yeah, the other thing that has nothing to do with the sewer is that in her yard is the Welcome to Hickory sign.
Correct, yeah, I wanted to say
And
that
it's
too.
broken. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with Joe Capula, who's the sign man down there at the end of the 4-lane and 50. But I did stop and ask Joe to look at that, and he sent me an email a while back with a quote and a picture, and I can't find it in my phone, but if you give me your contact, wherever you want me to forward that email, I will do that for your review the next time you guys meet.
I think that it should be explained the distinction between this board and the
yeah,
township proper.
that's what I was gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah, this is strictly the sewage.
Okay,
here.
I'm sorry.
But,
But the Welcome to Hickory sign will be consumed.
well, but if that was,
when this
if
goes
they had to
through.
take that down, they'd have to put it back up.
Yeah.
So that's not a problem.
Okay.
But if you pass that back to that gentleman, that's my contact information.
Okay.
Because I'm also the chairman of supervisors too, so I've got all kind of hats
Well, in
around here.
that case, we'll just shoot it. I'll have Joe Capula shoot it to you guys.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Just have them send it to me.
All right.
All right.
Ashley Clark, I live on 14 McCarroll. I'm a first-time home owner, and also I just bought the property in the last year. So I received this letter for the first time and haven't been involved in any of the prior sewage conversations, so I too am hoping to gain some clarity on the map. And I agree, like, I'm for the sewage going through, but I just need a little bit more information
Okay,
aside.
we'll do that after we close the meeting too.
Yeah. All right, so I guess I'll, so I'm Joe Ogburn, 18 Dyer Drive, not a new homeowner, and I've been to a couple of the public meetings. I think it was at the first one where I had some real objections to the way the agreement was written, because it could have out of hand allowed pipe to be stored in my yard, or it wasn't clear as to a confined nature to the easement. The reason I'm here tonight is because I got this final step letter, which to my recollection, I know it's been 3 years, but it's the first letter I've gotten that what I would call direct communication. Haven't been able to make many of the meetings, so I wouldn't have been able to forward the conversation otherwise. Fundamentally, I have no problem with the easement, and that's not temporary, that's.
No, that's permanent.
That's permanent and very disruptive.
Okay.
And while I appreciate what it's gonna do financially in the long term for the value of my home, that only matters if I choose to leave. I don't know how much it's gonna cost to tap in, and I know, I think I recall.
At this point, we don't either.
Right, but I think I recall a conversation about no actual tap-in fees, but there's still gonna be some sort of construction work required to tap in. My biggest issue is like final step nature of this communication, and as I said, my recollection is my first direct communication. And I'm not everybody's gonna get the same 15 to 18% benefit, but not everybody's gonna have that much done in their property. Now granted, it's gonna be underground, and I can't tell from this whether there's gonna be a manhole or, and maybe I'll stick around and find some clarification. But also can't find any wider map that lays out the project in toto for someone to look at and get an idea, say, okay, so 10% of the people who are gonna be negatively affected in a way that not everybody is. And that's worth more than $1.
Stick around. Anybody else?
I'm just your city engineer report.
Oh, okay. All right. Looks like you'll be busy after this.
Yes, right, that's good.
We'll move on. Once again, there's always seems like there's vacancies been on this board for a long time, so if anybody's interested
Need another body.
in joining the board, let us know. We already talked about, Eric talked about the update on the letters, of the easements. With that check, you probably don't need to transfer any funds for
No, we're
a
good.
month or two.
Yes, we should be good. Thank you.
Next meeting will be December 4th at 7 o'clock. And make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.